Emma Raducanu receives coaching advice after Coco Gauff admission. Frances Tiafoe urges Emma Raducanu to find a coach who understands her after Coco Gauff admitted she would struggle without coaching support at Indian Wells. Frances Tiafoe says he understands why Emma Raducanu may not want to have a coach, having experienced similar feelings himself earlier on in his career, but urged the British women's #1 to find a coach that understands her and can take her back to the top. Raducanu won the 2021 US Open and became the first British woman to win a major in singles since Virginia Wade at the 1977 Wimbledon Championships. However, she struggled to recapture that form and has cycled through multiple coaches since then. ATP World number 22, Tiafoe, said, "There was a time when I was her age where I didn't want it. But sometimes you have to look in the mirror and be like, what do you actually really need, how much you actually want?" Raducanu's decision not to have a full-time coach has sparked discussion at Indian Wells, with players giving their opinions on the matter, and Coco Gauff joking she would find it hard to compete without a full-time coach. F1 bosses scrambling for contingency plans as Iran bombings sparks fears. Danica Patrick claims Aaron Rodgers wore me down to nothing in explosive accusation. Not to say any way for her, but I'm just saying, for me, this is how I feel right now. Look, she's so good and she's so talented, obviously she's a worker, she's a Grand Slam champion. I just think she just needs to find someone who is going to really be there for her and be there with her ups and downs and her trying to get back to the top of the game where she deserves to be, reports The Express UK. Those remarks came just days after Gauff admitted she would find it difficult to compete in Raducanu's situation, following both players securing their spots in the round of 32 at Indian Wells. Following her victory over Uzbekistan's Kamila Rakimova, Gauff reflected on the idea of self-coaching, saying, "I don't think it would go well. There are tournaments where I maybe don't listen to my coach that much at all, so maybe it is self-coach. No, for me personally, I feel like it's always good to have some direction. I feel like the team I have now, they don't overcoach. They let me, think it through. Like today, I didn't look at my box for advice once. That's how I usually prefer it. But, I don't know, I think it's nice to have a coach with you, but every player is different. I know some players can play well without one, and some prefer just maybe someone like a hitting partner/coach. But I feel like with all the changes I'm making in my game, I think I would get pretty lost without one." Title: After the admission. The late afternoon sun hung gently over the practice courts at the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center. The air still carried the rhythm of tennis balls striking strings. Sharp, quick, relentless. For Emma Raducanu, those sounds felt familiar, almost comforting. Yet on this particular day, they also carried a quiet reminder: tennis, like life, never stands still. Across the net, her coach leaned against the fence, arms folded, watching carefully. Emma bounced a ball 3 times before serving. The motion was smooth, elegant, but the ball sailed just long. Again, the coach called gently. Emma nodded. She tossed the ball up once more. Just hours earlier, headlines had spread across the tennis world after Coco Gauff made a candid admission during a press conference following her match at the US Open. Gauff had spoken openly about pressure, expectations, and the lessons she learned from watching other young champions rise quickly, Emma among them. "I've learned that success comes fast sometimes," Coco had said. "But staying there, that's the real challenge." The comment wasn't criticism. If anything, it carried respect. Yet it stirred conversation throughout the tennis community. Fans, journalists, and analysts began reflecting again on Emma's remarkable journey, her meteoric victory at the 2021 US Open and the challenges that followed. Emma had heard the quote. She didn't feel offended. Instead, she felt thoughtful. After another serve clipped the net, she walked to the baseline and picked up the ball. Her coach approached. "You're rushing the motion," he said calmly. "Relax your shoulders." Emma exhaled slowly. "Did you see what Coco said today?" she asked. He nodded. "Yes." "And?" He smiled slightly. "She's not wrong." Emma laughed softly. Not out of mockery, but acceptance. "Neither are you," he added. They walked to the sideline bench. The court around them buzzed with activity, other players training, coaches giving instructions, balls rolling across concrete. Emma took a sip from her water bottle. When I won in 2021, she began, everything changed overnight. Interviews, sponsors, expectations. It felt like the world sped up. Her coach listened quietly. And sometimes, she continued, I wonder if I'm still catching up. He leaned forward. Emma, listen carefully. Winning a Grand Slam at 19 is extraordinary. But the story of a champion is never just one moment. He paused. Do you know what separates great players from the rest? Emma shrugged. Adaptation. The coach pointed toward the empty baseline. Every opponent studies you. Every season evolves. Your job isn't to defend a title forever, it's to grow. Emma stared at the court. She remembered the electric nights of the 2021 US Open, the roaring crowds, the perfect run through the tournament without dropping a set. At that moment, she felt unstoppable. But tennis had a way of humbling everyone. Even legends. Players like Serena Williams and Roger Federer built their greatness not just through victories, but through resilience, through seasons of adjustment, injury, doubt, and return. Emma stood again. All right, she said. Let's work. The next drill focused on footwork. Cones were placed across the baseline, forcing Emma to move quickly before striking the ball. Small steps, the coach reminded her. Stay balanced. Emma darted across the court. Left, right, pivot, swing. The ball cracked cleanly across the net. Better, he said. As the session continued, Emma's rhythm slowly returned. Her shots gained depth and control. Between drills, the conversation returned. Coco is doing something smart, the coach said. She's learning from others' journeys. Emma nodded. And you should do the same. From her. From everyone. He gestured around the tennis complex. Every player here has a lesson. Some about success. Some about patience. Emma thought about Coco again. Coco Gauff had risen quickly as well, capturing attention with her powerful game and fearless attitude. But what impressed Emma most was Coco's maturity, her ability to speak honestly about pressure. I respect her for saying that, Emma admitted. The coach smiled. That's why tennis is special. Your rivals can also be your teachers. Another practice set began. This time Emma moved more freely. Her backhand, one of the most elegant strokes on tour, cut through the air with precision. After a particularly sharp rally, the coach raised a hand. Stop. Emma waited. You see the difference? He asked. What? You stopped thinking about the headlines. Emma chuckled. He continued. The media loves stories, rising stars, struggles, comebacks. But the court only cares about one thing. Emma twirled her racket. Execution. Exactly.